Good morning, our lecturer. I'm Sister Anne Korshava, and I'm in third year doing bachelor's in business with education. I've come here to answer the question which was said to us, and that is to demonstrate how a computer system is to be assembled. And I will first define what is a computer system is. It is the collection of interconnected components that work together to perform different tasks using different hardware, software, and human resources. And then, what is assembling a computer? This is the process of gathering together different components of a computer to create a functioning machine. So that is the definition I can give about the two terms. And then next I'll go gathering components. Here they are the steps one takes while assembling a computer system. And the first place we have the first component is the central processing unit. Then we have motherboard. Then we have RAM, that is random access memory. We have storage. We have power supply unit, interface, cooling solution. Then the last one is the cable. I'll talk about each one, but before I go to the third point, which is preparing a workplace. After having seen all the components needed in assembling a computer system, one needs to prepare a place, and this place should be a clean place, having enough light, and not a place which is congested, but a place which is spaced. And one should also have screwdrivers to make sure that during the connection of different components, one has what to use. So when that one is done, we see how to install CPU. That is the first component. This CPU, it is opened and then connected to the socket on the motherboard. And without this, of course, the computer may not function well because a CPU is a primary component of a computer and is responsible for executing instructions from programs and performing calculations. So it is very important to have a CPU and installed to make sure that as the computer is being assembled, one has CPU present connected to the motherboard to provide fully functioning purpose as it is set for. Then after installing the CPU, one installs the CPU cooler, and these are mostly fans. They are installed in the computer to make sure that in case the computer is heated so much, then it does not freeze. They give fresh air to make sure that there is proper functioning of the computer. Then after installing the CPU cooler, one installs the RAM. And this RAM, you open the RAM slots on the motherboard. And the RAM is a type of volatile memory, and it helps in storing data, which the CPU is actively using. And the purpose of the RAM is to allow fast data access and retrieval. That is the purpose of the RAM. Then after installing the RAM, one installs the storage. And this storage helps in storing data, different applications after they have been processed. So the storage helps in storing data safely, faster, and when it is needed to be accessed, it is found in the storage. That is where it can be found. Then after installing the storage, there is a need to install graphics cards. These are dedicated graphic cards inserted into appropriate slot on the motherboard. And these cards, they help especially when one wants to put images, videos, CD graphics in maybe in his information, in his data to make it more interesting. So when they are there, they help in rendering images and all that. So the graphic card also has to be installed in as far as assembling a computer system is concerned. Then next, after installing the graphic cards, one installs a motherboard. And we see that this motherboard, it is you place its shield in the case's real cutout and carefully align the motherboard with the stands off in the case, and then you screw the motherboard into place. Yeah, that is all I can say about the motherboard after you have installed it, and it is the main circuit board of a computer. Yeah, it connects. It is a connector of various peripherals, and it provides communication pathways for the other components to work together, especially the CPU and the RAM. So that is what I can say about the motherboard. And then after installing the motherboard, one connects the cables. And these cables, we know that they help in transferring electricity from one component to another. And without cables, of course, the computer cannot work. They supply power to different components to make sure that the computer works well. That is the use of the cables, and they shouldn't miss in assembling the computer. Then after that, there is installing PSU. Yes, installing the PSU, and the PSU is in full, it is the power supply unit. It provides power to all components of the computer, and it converts electrical energy from the outlet into a usable power for the components. Yes, that is the PCU. And it is connected from the main power cable to the motherboard and to the other cables. Then there is also the case fans, and if your case has additional fans, then you connect them to the appropriate fan headers on the motherboard. And these fans, as we said, they help in giving air in case the computer is heated up to make sure that it does not freeze in the process of functioning its duties. Then, after installing all these other components, you have to check finally. You make sure that you check if everything is connected well, if everything is put in its proper place. And when you check that, you will be sure that there will be proper functioning and operation of the computer. So after connecting whatever component is needed. You check again to see in case there is maybe some error which needs to be corrected. So after checking and you have seen that everything is fine, then you close the case, meaning that is why you need the screwdrivers to make sure that it is connected properly and closed. Each panel, each screw is put on its proper place and to make sure that it is now a computer. And after doing that, you have to plug in the power cord and turn on the PCU, that's the power supply unit, and then you press the power button and then you switch on. And then after doing that, when the power is there, the computer will start working. And maybe the last part would be the last one, which is to be connected at last. It is the BIOS, and this one, the basic input-output system. It's a firmware and is built into a computer's motherboard, and it is mostly responsible for initializing hardware components, booting up the operating system, and providing low-level communication between the hardware and software of the computer. That is the BIOS. And when it is turned on, when the computer is turned on, it performs a power on self-test. Yes, it first tests to check if the hardware components are working properly, and it identifies and initializes components such as CPU, memory storage drivers, graphics card, and others. So that is all I had to say about how to demonstrate a computer system, and thank you for listening to me, and I wish you the best of the day. Thank you.